Hello my anime lovers! Today we are going to talk about Nagatoro Season 1. Don't Toy With Me, Miss Nagatoro has ended the first season. However, Nagatoro played an essential role in Senpai's life. Let's revisit Nagatoro-san Senpai life. A loner named Naoto met with a girl from the lower grade who made him cry on their first meeting. The girl is Hayase Nagatoro, who gave Naoto a name, and she begins to call him Senpai. The story begins, the two became interesting when Nagatoro teases Senpai after finding an introvert virgin. Senpai, aka Naoto, is doing his second year in Kazehaya High School. Senpai prefers to sit alone and play games or do his artwork. The two met in the school library, and Nagatoro notices that Senpai is scared of the girl and begins to toy with him, and he sheds tears. It became a daily life for Nagatoro to visit the art club room where Senpai spends his time. She begins to call him a pervert, since Senpai loves to read those mangas. Senpai also met with Nagatoro's friend Gamo, Yoshi, and Sakura. The girls start to believe that Nagatoro and Senpai are in love, and they also begin to tease Senpai, thinking that he will fall on their trap. The school president notices that the art club room has turned into a playground and challenges Senpai to prove her wrong, or the club will get closed. During the culture festival, Senpai won the president's heart, and her sister gets enrolled in the school and joins Senpai in art club. Nagatoro finds that she has a crush on Senpai, but she continues to play with his feelings without telling him. Senpai also fantasizes when he is with Nagatoro, spending quality time together. Senpai begins to be dull after meeting with Nagatoro and gains self-confidence. Nagatoro enjoys telling about what lovers do, but she changes the topic when Senpai falls into her trap and calls him a pervert. One day, she tried to get naked in front of him and told Senpai that he would paint her baked picture. Senpai, though, he would see Nagatoro's soft skin, but when she undresses, Senpai finds that she is wearing a swimming costume and what he thought didn't happen. Senpai also visits Nagatoro's home during the rain since it was nearby, and they enjoy playing games together. That time, Nagatoro took advantage of Senpai and asked him what happened when two people get locked inside the house. Senpai thought she was talking about making love, and Nagatoro replies that they play games together. Later, the young girl went to shower and Senpai heard the water running and wishes that he was there bathing with Nagatoro. Lover spot, love spark. Later, after a hot shower, Nagatoro returned and gave Senpai a towel for him to bath. Senpai thought he could feel Nagatoro's body since she was using the same towel, but he got disappointed when she told him that it is her brother's towel. Nagatoro finds that Senpai is focusing on game without reading, and the exams are around the corner. Senpai refuses and says he is reading, but she made him tell the truth. Nagatoro reminds him that if he fails, they will attend the same grade together. Senpai got motivated by her words and began to read. During the day of the festival, love sparked between the two lights. Nagatoro noticed that and tried to divert their attention away. The two were surprised when they find themselves in a lover spot who kisses each other after the fireworks explode. They both run away and realizes that they were in the wrong location. The next day, Nagatoro finds that Senpai is not good at running and decides to teach him. Senpai enjoys watching Nagatoro's body in sport dress and dashing at full speed. Nagatoro thought the boy is challenging her to a race and begins to race with him. The life between the two ended in happiness, and they both exchanged their number for calling each other during school holidays. The teasing ended after Nagatoro finds her friend toying with her senpai. She was worried that senpai would fall for another girl who wanted to be part of his life. Home alone, homesick, senpai wakes up with a cold and tells his mother, who's about to go on a business trip and basically looks like a grown woman version of senpai. Honestly, it's almost laudable how much they resemble each other. She considered canceling her business trip, but senpai insists he'll be fine without her. As Nagatoro goes through her school day, she notices his advantage and blows his phone up with a ton of messages. She wonders where he is at since he is not at school, and he mentioned that he stayed home after catching a cold. Instantly, she calls him and asks if he's alright. He mentions it's just a slight cold, and she apologized for possibly giving him her coat. After a little talking, he mentions that he's home alone and ends the call rather abruptly. After falling asleep for some time, senpai wakes up to the doorbell ringing. He struggles to get up, and once the doorbell stops ringing, he gazes over at his window to find Nagatoro peering in through the window like a bona fide creep. After a little back and forth, he invites her in, but decides against it when he considers that he doesn't want her to catch his cold. She argues that she has an immunity to his cold since he caught it from her and decides to come in. Senpai starts to feel worse, so she forces him to his room. Once they're there, Senpai starts to feel a little weird about having her in his room. She knows how tidy it is, but knows that he's gonna be hiding his pervert stash somewhere. She starts to look under his bed, and he has a coughing fight as he tries to tell her to stop. Worried about him, she stops and apologizes. After getting him in bed, she sits by his side. When he mentions he doesn't have a thermometer, she sees a prime opportunity to get him frustrated. She brushes the hair away from her forehead and from this before bringing their forehead together and looking eyes. Dream a dream of Nagatoro, with rosy cheeks that even Snow White would be jealous of. Senpai's heart pounds, and he has a little trouble breathing easily. Nagatoro notes that he has a pretty bad fever and his whole face goes bed red, with imaginary puffs of steam rising into the air. As Senpai lies in bed, he starts to feel worse. Suddenly, he feels a refreshing highly cool towel on his forehead. Nagatoro mentioned that she doesn't when she gets a cold. As the time passes, she continues caring for him, giving him water and replacing the towel with a fresh, good ones occasionally, since his family won't be at home until late and Senpai has an appetite. Nagatoro offers to make him something to eat. After Nagatoro goes to make him a meal, he daydreams about being married to Nagatoro and her staying home from work to care for him. When she gets back and starting feeding him, he's still in a haze and unconsciously switching back and forth between his daydream and actual reality. He thanks her and casually calls her by her first name. It makes her a moment to really process it, and she yells out in bewilderment. But when she goes to tease him about it, she's unconscious once again. As she watches him sleep, she asks him to say it again and teases him about planning a kiss if he's not really asleep. A piano rendition of the theme from the series opens softly play in the background. She leans in, asking if he's be okay with it, but she's startled by Nagatoro's mother suddenly walking through the front door and announces she's home. An unusual greeting. The next day, Senpai wakes up feeling much better and comes downstairs to a breakfast his mother prepared. She teases him about Nagatoro, whom she met after returning home. Viewers see a flashback of Nagatoru and Senpai's mother briefly meeting before Nagatoro left. Senpai mentions she is his junior. On his way to school, Senpai thinks back to the daydream about Nagatoro and starts to question how much of what happened was actually reality or part of the dream. He runs into Nagatoro and they have another awkward morning greeting. As they walk to school, he thanks her for visiting and taking care of him. She waves it off and then unleashes a flurry of kicks for his tomfoolery. He stops her by grabbing her ankle, but ends up catching her in a compromising position, and they both yell out of embarrassment. Once again, her friends happen to show up at the most inopportune time and Nagatoro tries to cover for it by unleashing a judo move on Senpai. Needless to say, her friends aren't buying and neither are the viewers. This episode of Don't Toy With Me, Nagatoro, Miss Nagatoro continues developing the relationship between the two leads by reversing the situation from the previous episode. Now, if this was poorly done, it would be easy for it to come off as a stale repeat of what viewers have already seen in the series. In this case, it's interesting to see how they both react to the same situation differently when it's reversed and how the dynamics of the relationship shift ever so slightly from atypical circumstances. Through and through, an enjoyable watch and a nice build-up for what's yet to come. The characters of this story. Hayase Nagatoro. She is one of two main characters of Don't Toy With Me, Nagatoro, Miss Nagatoro manga series. She is a high school student who likes to tease and bully her senpai. The other main character, although she secretly harbors strong feelings for him, Nagatoro is an energetic, athletic, popular, and raised sadistic, but deep down very sweet girl, often referred to as a sadoderer. She is part of a cool kids clique together with her friends Gamo-chan, Yoshi, and Sakura, and is the member of swimming club. Despite also having a huge passion for martial art such as Muay Thai, boxing, capoeira, and especially judo, whom eventually lead her to join the judo club as well. Nagatoro is an attractive, petite, and short-statured high schooler with long, straight black hair painted on the right side, a pair of white hair clips. She has brown skin, with noticeable though something inconsistent tan lines in the shape on her swimsuit, and large expressive amber maroon eyes. She has a metallic piercing on her upper right ear, and both of her lobes are pierced. Despite this, she rarely wears earrings. Compared to other characters, she is exceptionally small, although it was being hinted that she may have a late growth spurt, and she actually grew several inches during winter. Nagatoro has a lean, athletic, slender, and very flexible size with a modest bust size, which she is often ashamed about despite being considered her size and build pretty average sized. Also, she seemingly gained a broad cup as the story progresses. Is rarely seen without a sadistic cookie smirk that often displays her very prominent canines, and has the tendency to heighten the pupil of just an eye whenever she grins. Naoto Hayushi is one of the two main characters of the Don't Toy With Me Miss Nagatoro manga series. He is a high school student who constantly gets teases by Nagatoro. the other main character, who always refers to him only as senpai. He is an introvert, twitchy, loner, nerdy, and shy aspiring artist who tries to avoid social interaction with other people and doesn't seem to have any friends, although, as the story progresses, he bonds with Geimo-chan, Yoshi, Sakura, and Nagatoro herself, for whom he also harbors strong feelings. Senpai is the only remaining member of the art club besides the former president. Senpai is a very tall, gangling, and angular-built high schooler with a well-defined chin and curly, fluff-like brown hair. Often compared to a sheep fleeced, he has an extremely pale and delicate complexion, so much that he gets sunburned easily, and sharp, twitching brown eyes. He is short-sighted and always wears a pair of horn-rimmed glasses, although he can see somewhat decently even without them, and later started to wear lenses. Often described as a bean sprout, Senpai is slender, incredibly weak, and has a bony, dry, skinny, and very inflexible physique, with his arms being so thin that they could be contained in a girl's grip, but relatively defined pecs. Nagatoro frequently calls him gross, yet he is actually decently handsome, and both the girl and her friends shave down to find him quite attractive. He typically wears his school uniform constantly of a white button-up shirt whose sleeves and collar he always keeps tightly buttoned, and black trousers complete with a pair of sneakers. However, in summer he wears a short-sleeved shirt in his uniform, while in winter he is shown to wear a cardigan and occasionally a blue blazer. Sana Tsunomiya is a supporting character of Don't Toy With Me, Miss Nagatoro manga series. She is a high school, later university student who serves as the president of the art club whom Senpai is the member of. The president is a serious, stern, and responsible girl, albeit with a habit of public nudity. Despite being semi-retired, she still managed the club's bureaucracy and logistics, eventually becoming enraged and starting a sort of feud with Geimo-chan, Yoshi, Sakura, and especially Nagatoro, after they turned the club room into their hangout, although she recognizes the younger girl's role as Senpai's muse. Later in the story, she graduates and starts attending Tokyo University of the Arts. The president is a beautiful, shapely, and very tall young woman with long, straight dark, publishing black hair that reaches at the end of her back, even when she keeps it tied up in the ponytail, and a yacht fringe. She has a royal Palora-like, delicate-looking, fair skin depicted as so clear that seems a glow in the dark, and sharp, cool-looking crimson eyes. In terms of height, she towers over every other female characters of the series, as well as most males, and has a young, quick, imposing, and athletic physique which has been described as unreal, with a firm butt, massive boobs, and thin waist, long legs, and slender arms. Having practically kendo since ever childhood, she also very muscular and toned. Her breasts are her most distinctive features, and they are often exaggerated for comedy effects. The president is rarely seen smiling or smirking, and sport an intimidating frown or scowl most of the time. Misaki Nagatoro is a minor character of the Don't Toy With Me, Miss Nagatoro manga series. She is a university student, Hayase and Taiga's Nagatoro's older sisters, as well as her family's older child. She is a mature, playful, and friendly young woman who likes to tease her little sister despite caring and loving her deeply, as well as being a confident and sort of role model for the protagonist. After realizing the true feelings between her younger sister and senpai, she decides to help and fuel their budding relationship. Masaki is beautiful, sharply, an average stature young woman with medium legs, straight black hair, and folds on her forehead in a thick fringe, later briefly decolorized and shortened at the tip. She has relatively light skin and large, expressive, yet somewhat tired-looking dark amber maroon eyes, with an attractive mole under the left one. Her ears are not pierced, and she does not seem to wear earrings or any kind of jewelry. Misaki is very similar to her younger sister in terms of physical shape, sharing her learned, athletic, slender, and flexible physique, albeit with a noticeable longer bust size and wider hip due to being a young adult rather than a teen. Misaki sports almost always a wide, kind, and sweet smile, displaying incisors slightly more pronounced than average, as well as her family's signature prominent canines. She shares many physical expressions with her little sister, and exactly like her, tends to widen the pupil of just an eye whether she grins. Maki Gamo, better known as Gamo-chan, is a supporting character of the Don't Toy With Me, Miss Nagatoro manga series. She is a high school student and Nagatoro's best friend. Gamo-chan is a confident, popular, driving, and quite aggressive girl, as well as the nominal leader of the Cool Kids Clique, which Yoshi, Sakura, and Nagatoro herself as part of. She and Nagatoro share a sort of friendly rivalry, and being aware of the friend's feelings for senpai, she likes teasing him and pulling unique pranks as her own way to help their relationships. Gamo-chan is an attractive, tall, and statuary high schooler with long, frizzy orange hair, which she likely bleach since they turn lighter in a gradient toward the tip, usually scruffy and a little unkempt. She has porcelain skin, although not delicate, and large expressive orange eyes that perfectly match her hair color. She was removable double piercings on her upper left ear, but those are usually covered by her hairs. She is the tallest of Nagatoro's friends, almost as tall as Senpai, and is also the bustiest, albeit Yoshi reached her cup size after her summer puberty change. An Amazonian beauty, she has a toned, muscular, flexible, and extremely athletic physique with well-defined abs, a shapely musculature, and generous breast, a feature which is often Nagatoro's envy. Gamo-chan sports almost always a smug, near, and fascinating eyelid, which is higher than the other one. Also, she tends to thin her pupils wherever she grins. And this is all for today. Remember to give us a like, share the video, and subscribe to our channel to see all the videos we have for you. Goodbye, my anime lovers!